Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at www.beautyprofessor.net. Today I'm excited to do a special hairstyle tutorial, and this is a take on the classic side braid. It looks really complex, but once you get the hang of it, it's completely achievable. It is the 5-strand braid. 5. Towards the end of this last work week, I had a little break between classes and it was getting warm in the classroom in which I was teaching. And so I decided to put my hair in this braid because it was otherwise down. And a lot of my students were asking me after it was done, oh my gosh, how did you do this? What possibly could you have done to make it look like this? Because it's a very out of the ordinary braid. In some cases it looks kind of like a really tasty baked good. And I've had many others who concur with me on this. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm hopeful that my directions will be clear and easy to follow. A quick word on my makeup. This morning I decided to shop my stash, and I'm sure many of us beauty lovers can relate to that. Having amassed a host of products and then always kind of looking to the new thing, you can have many fantastic products kind of fall beside the wayside. For me, I ended up today embracing a foundation formula that I haven't worn in a while, but I really like it. It's the Giorgio Armani Designer Shaping Cream Foundation. I'm wearing it in shade 5.5, which is about equivalent to an NC25, so it matches my skin for most of the year. This is a beautiful liquid cream formula. It's not super dense. You can see there's some movement in there, and it's my understanding that it's not as readily available as it used to be. I'm not certain if it was getting phased out. It just gives beautiful medium to full coverage. A little goes a long way. It's slightly glowy, dewy. It stays in place, and I do believe it has skincare benefits. Kind of an underrated foundation formula from Giorgio Armani, but I really appreciate it, and we'll try to link to it below if I can. For eyes, I'm wearing the NARS Dual Intensity Eyeshadow in Himalaya. And you can see it's received quite a lot of wear since procuring it earlier in the summer. I use it with a wet brush. I prefer that application. It's really intense and shiny, and so that would explain why the beautiful embossed shape of the eyeshadow is completely obliterated. It's like this on the eyes. I just do a single wash of color and kind of blend up to the brow bone. I have a really pretty light taupe with lots of reflective power, really neutral, and it works easily for a quick. These are not old product. I have got my hands on newer products since embracing these, so we'll still consider this shopping my stash. I'm wearing the Tom Ford matte lip color in First Time. Can't get enough of this. You can see there's been exceptional wear, and I'm really glad I have a backup. I'm wearing a coat of that with one of my all-time favorite glosses, the Tom Ford gloss in Naked. And it is a creamy beige. I know I've talked about it in other videos and blog posts. It's just amazing. I'm on my 3rd tube, so that should tell you something about my affinity for this gloss. Onto the braid itself. So I've brought all my hair over to one side. I'm right-handed, and so I'm bringing it to my right side where I think I can more aptly work with it. And I'm going to make sure that it's brushed out and as tangle-free as possible. I'm using my trusty Tangle Teezer here, which I adore. I don't know what I ever did without this, because it truly gets rid of all tangles. If your hair is tangle prone, I highly recommend tracking this down, procuring it, and making it a part of your routine. Truly, it's amazing. Wet hair, dry hair, it takes out all the tangles without any pain. Anyway, I think I'm pretty much brushed out at this point, and now I'm going to divide this pony into 5 strands. One easy way of doing that is to take approximately 2/5 of the hair and move it over to one side here. And then you've got the other 3/5 of the hair over here. Now, of the 3/5, I'm going to take 1/3 of that portion. Gosh, fractions. Who knew I'd be talking about those with such command, because fractions are never my thing. So now I have 2 strands worth of hair over here, 2 over here, and 1 strand already sanctioned out. Just makes the parting a lot easier. Now I'm going to divide this into 2. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to divide this into 2 as well. The goal is to hold 2 and 2 in your hands and let that 3rd one kind of rest on its own and be somewhere in the middle of the ponytail. So now I want you to think about numbering out these strands in your own head. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And keeping that straight in your head is going to be useful, especially as I start to talk to you about the steps. So I'm going to go ahead and take strand number 1. I'm going to cross it over strand number 2, and I'm going to bring it under strand number 3, like so. And that is the first base. You'll notice that as you start to do this braid, the sections become more solidified, especially if you're doing it right. So now I'm going to take the 5th strand on this side, I'm going to cross it over the 2nd strand here, and going to bring it under the 3rd strand, and then kind of straighten everything out. It can be a little bit of a rocky start at first, but as long as you keep tugging tight and keeping your sections separate, you'll be okay. I'm going to take this outer strand now, I'm going to bring it over the strand next to it and under the middle strand. And now just be thinking about, now you go to the other side, go over and then under the 3rd, the middle strand. Okay. And now I'm going to take the outer and I'm going to go over the 2nd strand and under the 3rd strand and hold it tight. It's amazing what one's fingers can do when you concentrate, because it's weird to me that I'm able to kind of manage all of these strands, but the more practice, the easier this becomes, and I've done it quite a few times at this point. Over the 2nd strand and then under the 3rd, hold tight, over, and then you're going to go over and under, section it off. You can see this braid is coming to fruition. It's getting great shape. It does look like a baked good. Okay, over and under and pull, taking one from the outside over the one next to it, under the 3rd, pulling, and it starts to just get really easy at this point. The braid is formed, over, under, and pull. Now once you get down to the bottom of the braid, and it's going to be, of course, your preference how far to the ends you want to go. I usually want to secure it with an elastic, and I like to keep one on my wrist because it makes it really convenient. I don't need to feel around when it's time for me to put it on. I chose to leave a few inches unbraided at the ends and just kind of have a puff at the bottom here. I'm just going to put the elastic on. And then I'll go ahead and flatten out the braid. I'm pulling it out to kind of show the weave here. And it's like a basket, a woven basket, if you will. It is a weaving process. Here it is, way up here to the end. And then what you choose to do with the rest of your hair, of course, once again, is up to you. If you want to pull a few hairs out, some always end up falling out on this side, just because there'll invariably be some that are shorter. I can just let this lie right here. And what's funny is that oftentimes when people are talking to you, if they're off at an angle, they'll just think you're wearing a braid, and then they'll come to the front and their reaction will be like, whoa, oh my gosh, what is that? And they'll want to know more. But from the side, it could just look like a traditional braid. So I like that it has a surprise element. What's beautiful about braiding it all the way to the ends is that if you leave it in place, I did this on Friday, I was exhausted, I slept with it. On Saturday, hair is wavy, just like if you braided it, and it just has a beautiful, loose, kind of princessy wave. I was able to actually shoot some pictures for a blog post with that post-braid hair. So it does leave a beautiful wave for those of you interested in that element. And as a braid, as I said, as long as you keep things sectioned off and you stay focused, and for me, I need to be really focused to do that. I can't be talking a lot or thinking about other things. I have to be focused on those 5 strands and where I'm sending them. Essentially, it's just over and under and pull and over and under and pull. And if you think about that motion, it hopefully will streamline the experience for you. I truly hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Here's the braid in action. And I can't wait to hear your experience upon trying my directions on the 5-strand braid. It looks more difficult than it actually is, and practice makes perfect with this one. So I will be honest, my first few attempts were not as clean. The strands were a little bit haphazard and all over the place, but over time it just becomes more intuitive and the braid ends up looking very skillful and accomplished. I welcome your questions and comments, and as always, please do not forget to visit me at my beauty blog, Beauty Professor, which can be found at www.beautyprofessor.net. Take care.